All right, this is a follow-up video to a first one I did. I've tried several in between, been having kinds of video problems. This is the Bul Armory SASII ultralight in 9mm. Basically, the first video you saw a whole bunch of problems with failures to eject. Failures to extract, not failures to eject. Let's see, it was Cellar and Belay 124 grain and Winchester White Box 115 grain. I've since, in those course of those other videos, shot quite a few more of the Aguila 124 grain. And so far the Aguila's been 100% all the way through. It's also like this Federal brass 115 grain. I'm going to try the Cellar and Belay 124 grain. I believe I tried that in a previous video and it did okay. I did some Liberty Defense 60 grain or 50 grain, you know, the ultra fast ammo, and it did fine with that. So, you know, we'll see. I've only got 2 mags, so I got to load in between. This is loaded up with the Aguila, and then I have a magazine mostly loaded with Winchester White Box 147 grain hollow points. I think there's only like 13 rounds in there. I was busy shooting, and then all of a sudden the camera died, so I had to start over. So anyway, this is the Aguila 124 grain, which has been 100%. And it continues to be 100%. Round count wise, somewhere closing in on 500 rounds at this point. So we should be through any break-in period. Now, that's kind of interesting. I didn't notice that before. The magazines have a little bit of up and down play. I hadn't seen that before. And in fact, let me check this other magazine out and see if it does the same. Yeah, there's a little bit of play to it. You don't see it as much with this one, but this is also an empty magazine, so it doesn't have the weight pushing down on it, or pulling down on it, I should say. So just be aware that is there. I hadn't noticed before. This is the Winchester White Box 147 grain. In the previous attempt to do this video, just a few minutes ago, I had 2 failures to extract. Failure to extract. To extract. So and actually that's the first time that's happened. It didn't even come out of the chamber at all. Normally what happens is the case comes out about halfway and sticks with the magazine there. So you know, your slap rack and roll will obviously not work here. So you do have to clear the magazine, and then it ejected or extracted successfully there. So, I mean, maybe it's just something where it really hates Winchester. I don't know. As a brand, I guess that's a possibility. I'm not going to fire the rest of these, though. It's basically just a waste of the 147 grain. That works just fine in pretty much every other 9mm I have. So, I'll just lay it right there. And let me load up a magazine of the Federal 115 brass. It has done fine with these. I haven't shot any aluminum. I haven't shot any steel case through this pistol. The aluminum I could see having more of a problem just because the aluminum tends to expand a little bit more. And, you know, one of the things about these guns, they apparently have fairly tight tolerances, except for the magazine play. But at the same time, having that tight tolerance doesn't necessarily excuse the inability to reliably extract brass. You know, like I said, I mean, aluminum I could understand, the brass a little harder. One of the good things about the gun so far is that it has been 100% with the Aguila 124 grain. So you find something this gun likes and it digests it very reliably. Things that it maybe doesn't like quite so much, not the same, not the case. All right, and this is the magazine that I'm loading now, by the way, that had the Aguila in it, which ran flawlessly, so this should not be a magazine issue. I only have the 2 magazines, you know, as far as that's what ships with the gun. They did, by the way, send the gun in a cheap box, and they told me they were going to follow it with with their real box. They said they were out of real boxes due to COVID. I have not seen that box. So whether or not it actually ever appears, I don't know. But I've had the gun for a couple of months now, so you figure if they were going to send the box would have arrived. You know, say Livy, I didn't buy the gun for the box. All right, so this is the S&B 115 grain. You know, it's just their cheap range ammo. I'm just double checking there on the box, trying to read it upside down to make sure that it is indeed 115 grain. Yes, 115. And we'll see how this does. It did not particularly like the S&B 124 grain, but it did get better with it. And it did just fine with the S&B 115 grain in that magazine. And now this is the Federal Brass 115. I want to say I fired 3 boxes of this ammunition through the pistol, and I believe I've had 1 failure to eject, or extract rather, and that was very early in the in those 150 rounds. I want to say it was I want to say it's in that first video. Shooting 100%, and just to make sure it wasn't a magazine thing, I'm going to load up 15 rounds in the other magazine of the 115 grain S&B. You know, and again, actually I'm going to do something different. I'm going to try to sneak in some of the 147s. So every 3rd round is going to be one of the Winchester White Box 147s. So you've got the 115s with 147s every 3rd. And we will see if we can trick it into shooting the 147 grain. I tried to trick it into shooting, I think it was the S&B 115 grain. Oh, I'm sorry, the S&B the Winchester White 115 grain. I tried to trick it into shooting that, and it was not fooled. Every time it hit one of those, it had a problem. So it's going to start out 147, 2 rounds of 115, the S&B 115, 147, 2 rounds of the 115, all the way through. Here's a 147. Stoppage of that same kind. Let's see if I can catch this, because I want to see. Dang, I dropped it. I think it's this one. Yep, it's still here. Just curious if this is the Winchester. Yep, this is the Winchester. So it stopped on the Winchester. Actually, I could have just looked at the magazine, because there's the 2 S&Bs. So it sniffed out the Winchester and stopped the gun. So that was another Winchester. So it's finding the Winchesters and saying no. Oh, it got that one out. And it got the last one out. So, how the gun knows it's a Winchester round in there? Whatever. Maybe it's something in their production. Accuracy-wise, you can see I've shot a tangerine-sized hole in the target there. I'm not far away. I'm only about, I don't know, what is that, 20 or 15 feet maybe, 5 yards, something kind of like that. But, you know, accuracy-wise, you know, the gun is certainly capable of being more accurate than I'm being. As far as reliability-wise, I am now to the point of being very comfortable in saying when you find the ammunition this gun likes, it will run reliably for you. When you find ammunition that it does not like, it will sniff out that ammunition, and it will not feed it reliably. Which is really too bad, because, you know, you're going to have to, just, if you buy one of these, be aware, and I'm putting the, just another 147 grain Winchester 4th round in, just be aware you may have to do some extensive testing before you're comfortable in using this as your home defense or your carry gun. So we are past the break-in period for any rational shooter. I mean, you know, I really don't believe too much in break-in periods. I think guns should work as they come out of the box. I understand my HKs, you know, they require a little bit in the way of shooting just to get the springs to be where they need to be. You know, the recoil springs, but, you know, for a defense gun, I could see a lot of people looking at the Bul Armory and saying, well, I'm not going to buy that because it's not reliable right out of the box with every type of ammunition. It just isn't, or it hasn't been for me. And remember, this is the only one I have. So, you know, watch other videos and whatnot. There's a good one on TFB TV, I think, but I think they sent that one to him. And so I'm sure they did everything to tune it and make it whatever, or say, hey, use this type of ammunition. Whereas this, I'm just like you. I mean, I bought the pistol and I have my ammunition. Nobody sends me ammunition. I'd be fine if people did send me ammunition, but my channel isn't anywhere near important enough to warrant that. So if you buy one of these, just be prepared for the possibility that you have to really test ammunition types. Find the one that's reliable, or the ones that are reliable. And so far, the Aguila, it's loved the 124 grain. It's doing fine with the S&B 115 grain, the Federal 115 grain. So it's not like, you know, you have to go exotic or you have to hand load for it. Just be aware that you may not be able to pick up, you know, the cheapest box of 147 grain hollow points, put it in the gun and expect it to work reliably. The 50 round box of 147 Winchester is not running reliably in this gun. So overall, I mean, I like shooting this gun. This is a fun gun to shoot. It's accurate, and you know, you can blame the group spread there on me. It feels really good in the hand. I mean, I like the sights. There's a lot to like about the gun. It's also just very cool with the whole little fluted barrel in a couple of places. So there's a lot to like about the gun. If you are looking for a Glock 19-ish weight and size pistol, this is one to consider. I believe in my little bag here, I've got my HK P30 SK. Yep, there it is. So, size comparison wise, the P30 SK, it's actually a touch thicker. With the 12 round magazine here, or with the extension for the 12 round, it's about the same height. It's a little thicker in the grips because the palm swell. They're just about the same length when you take the beaver tail into consideration. You know, they're about the same length. So about the size of a P30 SK. For a carry gun, it's not a bad carry gun, but make sure that you are comfortable with the ammunition functioning, that, you know, the ammunition you're carrying functioning reliably with the pistol. So this is the Bul Armory SAS2 Ultralight.